I'm Julian Horton, and you're watching my boy, Tyler Crone.
What's up, y'all? Thank you for listening to the Shine Time Podcast. This is our first episode ever. No guest today, just me. I'm going to be running through the system I put in place, the pattern of how I want to do this, how I want to do the podcast. And usually it's going to be a guest. I'm going to try to do this thing 10 weeks on, 4 or 5 weeks off, 10 weeks on, 4 or 5 weeks off in that pattern. Give myself a month off in between podcasts, but I want to try to make this thing pretty consistent as far as 10 weeks in a row, and that'll be our seasons. Today, we're actually going to be doing a little bit of a situation where I'm interviewing myself, but I'm just going to show you guys how this thing's going to roll. What type of questions are going to be asked to our guests that we have come in. Like I told you guys, I've got professional athletes lined up, former professional athletes. I've got bodybuilders, health experts, people who are of a high spiritual knowledge, things like that, that are going to come talk on the podcast. Financial knowledge, things that we can all learn from. This is not just for me to teach you guys. This is for me to learn as well. So first we're going to start the timer, just so I can keep track of how long these episodes are. Next thing, the drink of the day. I'm building out a liquor cabinet of some pretty cool liquors for people to choose from. Today, I have Woodford Reserve here. Second of all, I'm going to have a mini fridge. I'm going to have caffeine there in case they want to go that route. Okay, so we'll skip over all of that because I know you guys don't want to hear a bunch of schedule stuff. Check-ins. First thing we're going to roll with. So today, it's just me. There's going to be a check-in for every guest that comes in here. And then I'm going to answer as well. And the check-in is going to be on a scale of 1 to 10, mentally and physically, where are you at? Shout out to the I Am Athlete podcast. I got this from them. They do a mental, physical, and financial check-in, but not every guest that I have on here is going to want to display their finances like that or their financial situation. So we're going to just do mental and physical. So for me, mental check-in, I'm going to give myself a 9 right now. Being 28 years old, single, and really no responsibilities other than myself at the moment and my dog Cairo, who's older and doesn't require as much attention as a younger dog would. It's given me a lot of room to, you could call it be selfish, but I'd like to refer to it as build. It's given me a lot of room to build myself from the inside out, to get closer to God, to keep a strict, hardcore, rough gym routine, an MMA training routine, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, and then, banging the weights, throwing iron in the gym. It's allowed me to keep a selfish routine lately. And when that happens, when you have that unlocked in life, at whatever moment in time it is, you see the benefits from it. Your testosterone's higher. Sometimes you can even feel it if you're really in tune with those things, and if you really pay attention to your body and your health. Your testosterone's higher, your energy levels are higher. But anyways, I'm not going to harp too much on it. That's where I'm at. So I'm at a 9 mentally because I'm able to put all of my energy and efforts right now into things, my endeavors, and myself personally. And then physically, I'd say that I'm at an 8 out of 10. I say that because I've had some issues with my foot, my right foot. I think I might have injured it somehow, but I'm working through it, and it's not anything that I think requires surgery or anything crazy like that, but it's just a nagging injury that swells up a little bit every now and then at the ball of my foot, where the big toe connects to your foot. And so I'm not sure what that is. It's not too bad, and now that I'm not playing flag football, it's really not flaring up that much. So physical, I'd give it an 8. little minor things here and there, and I could be eating a little better. I could be not necessarily eating healthier, but I could be eating more because I'm an ectomorph body type, which means that I have a higher metabolism and my body wants to stay leaner if it can, so it will burn those calories any way it sees fit. So first question. So if I would be interviewing somebody, I'm going to roll through some questions that are similar to what I would ask, okay? So these are actually questions I had wrote down to ask guests that came on. What advice would you give yourself at 16 years old? So I thought about this, and for me personally, I was at 16 years old, Mr. Playboy. I was, not going to be tied down no matter what the case, pretty much. I did have an off and on girlfriend at the time, around 16. I mean, it kind of spanned from like 15 to 17, and it was really off and on. It wasn't on for very long lengths of time. So I think I didn't let myself fall in love. So the girl that I was off and on with, I didn't let myself fall for her like I could have. And then also I didn't let any other girls in to the point of being able to fall for them. So, and that carried on for me throughout high school, all the way to college, all the way till my junior year of college. I never fell in love with a girl. Literally never fell in love with a girl until junior year of college. And I just was all about my boys, Saturdays are for the boys type lifestyle. Football came first, boys came first, girls after that. So I would probably let myself fall in love to actually get that feeling and to allow myself to that level of enjoyment with a female in high school. And I kept myself from that, and I regret it. Play multiple sports. So I played a ton of sports growing up from when I was 5 years old to 9th grade of high school. Once I got to 9th grade of high school, it was strictly football. I only played football 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade of high school. A lot of that was because our coach preferred us to only play football, of course. Secondly, wrestling was the next sport that I wanted to play, or that I wanted to participate in, and I knew that I was really good at because I had wrestled 1 year in middle school, and the only person I lost to actually won state that year. So coming in, having no experience in doing that well, wrestling I thought was another gig for me that would be really cool and fun, and I would dominate at it. So I started wrestled for a couple weeks. Anyways, I was approached in the hallway by the high school football coach, and he made it real clear to me that, hey, they're going to be trying to keep you at a lower weight, and you need to gain weight for football, because I was a thinner kid. All the talent I needed to be on the field, but was a thinner kid. So for football, I needed to beef up. For wrestling, they're going to want to keep you at a lower weight class. So he told me basically, and he knew football was my first love, and he told me, he said, if you think that you're going to be able to balance them wanting you to lose weight and me wanting you to gain weight to get on my field, it's going to be a problem. And for me, that meant wrestling's out the fucking window, because I was so in love with football over everything. I love at the time football more than anything in my life. And so I dedicated my life to football. But looking back, I would wrestle, I'd play football, and I would either play baseball or I would run track, because I think that I could have done both at a decent level in high school. So that's what I would tell myself at 16. Hopefully I didn't stretch that out for too long. It'll be better once I have someone to back and forth bounce ideas off with when I have a guest. Now we have the up or down, then circle around section of the podcast, where I'm going to give the guest normally, which will be me today, topics. As I go down the list, they're going to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. They can't say anything except for thumbs up or thumbs down. There's no explaining, there's no justifying, you just have to give your answers, okay, on these topics, either thumbs up or thumbs down. So I'm going to go through the topics. Kanye West's album Donda, thumbs up. Shots of Rumplemints, thumbs down. Commercial gyms, thumbs down. Mandated vaccines, thumbs down. Cryptocurrency, thumbs up. Checkerboard vans, thumbs down. Can't say that. Vegan diet, thumbs down. All right, that's the list for today. Again, you're going to want to explain. I'm going to want to explain. The guest is going to want to explain in the future, but it's all about thumbs up or thumbs down in that section. Okay, I don't want this video to be too long, so let me get to these next topics pretty quick. How do you handle hangovers? Okay, I got some tips for you guys. Take it from a pro, okay? I don't say that, take it from a pro because I drink a lot these days. No. I say that because I drank a lot in my college days, especially in the front end, and then I drank in high school at a pretty early age, earlier than you should. So I've got, I've been around the block a few times. First of all, the day after you drink, hit the sauna and hit the sauna as early as you can. Detox your body. Get that alcohol out of your body. Sweat it out. For me, this is my number one tip. It's the best thing. It makes me feel better than any other tip or any other thing that I've ever tried, any remedy for having a hangover. These are not in order after sauna, but sauna's number one. 2 Advil before bed. Don't quote me on this. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice here, okay? But I believe it's the 250 milligram Adderall. Adderall, wow. 250 milligram Advil, not Adderall, guys. Don't take Adderall before bed. Terrible idea. It keeps you from having a headache the next day. Guess it takes the swelling off the brain or whatever. I know that, it's an anti-inflammatory or whatever, Advil. Water as you drink. That's the next tip. I know it's corny or there's going to be people that make fun of you, but let me tell you straight up, okay? If someone's ever making fun of you, straight up, take it from an OG who's been there, done that, been around the block too many times. If someone's making fun of you for drinking water between your alcoholic drinks, they're a noob, okay? They have an ego issue and they're trying to bring you down or try to act cool because you're not doing what they're doing, whatever. Nah. Be you. Do you. Trust me. And for the guys out there, the more you do you and you don't let other people influence you around the group or around this public setting anyways, the more girls are going to like it. Factual. Trust me. I guarantee it. Third thing, stay hydrated regularly anyways. Doesn't matter if you're drinking or not. If you stay hydrated regularly, if you were hydrated Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you go out on Saturday, even if you didn't drink as much water as you should have while you were out Saturday, you're probably going to feel all right Sunday because you were hydrated beforehand. Pro tip. Eat before bed. How there's always those late night out, get some fast food or get some, it's usually some terrible for you food before bed. No matter what you eat, I'm not going to sit here and try to make you or suggest that you eat super clean or healthy or try to find that, which is ridiculously hard at that time of night before you go to bed. But what I am going to say is eat before you go to bed. If you don't eat before you go to bed and all your stomach has is that alcohol, it's a terrible situation. The less sugar, the better. Whatever has a lot of sugar in it that you would mix with Jack and Coke, if you're mixing with a Coke, terrible, dude. Terrible. You're going to feel like hell the next day. Trust me, the less sugar, the better. If you're down for the vodka spritzer, I know that's not a manly drink to drink, but I'm telling you, man, if you're down for shots, if you're down for, on the rocks like this, that's the way to go. Trust me. Mixed with water, there's your water and your drink. Next thing, what's something you went through in high school that sucked? So, I think this is a pretty cool story myself. I'm going to try my best not to be too long-winded on here. My freshman year of high school, when you're a freshman, at least in my high school, you get last pick of classes because the older kids have seniority, right? So when it came down to it, there wasn't any PE classes left when I chose my classes, and there wasn't any of the cool electives after I chose my regular classes. So there was only a couple options. And at the time, what I thought was a terrible choice was the best I had, was theater. I didn't want to go up in theater. You know, all I knew up until that point was theater kids are weird. Theater kids, I don't have any friends that are in theater. They're staying after school and dressing up in these fake costumes, and you know, it just, the whole thing was like, I don't want any part of this, you know? So I get in there. Luckily, I had one of my really good friends in there with me, who was a freshman as well. Kind of got set at it. So we sat at a table together because you were able to sit wherever you wanted. We sat at a table together, and then luckily, for whatever reason, by the great grace of God, there were two really attractive girls in the class. So me and my friend were in 9th grade. There was an attractive girl who was in 10th grade in the class, and then there was an attractive girl who was a senior in the class. And we all four hit it off. Really, we hit it off. We sat at the same table every day, us four. It was we had a big round table. It was 4 people, 5 people to a table. We all four sat together. And it was because we ran with the same crowds, even though me and him didn't know those two older chicks, but we knew of them and they knew of us, because we were all popular, but for our separate grades, right? I had an older cousin that knew the senior girl, and then that was a spark to like for us to be friends or whatever. Mr. Collins was our teacher, and he was a pretty cool teacher, but you know, he was going to make you do your work and turn in your work and this and that, and you were going to do the assignments like you should, which is whatever. You know, looking back, it ain't, I mean, that's what they should be doing. But in high school, it was like, okay, I guess this guy's cool. He's not too much of a stickler for talking or whatever. I'll be honest, I mean, looking back, it is one of the most memorable classes that I had in high school. It is one of the most impactful classes I had in high school. The relationship I've developed with the senior girl allowed me to further my friendships with older kids, which matters a lot in high school. I'm sure a lot of you know. Same with the 10th grade girl. And then I got tight with my friend who was also in 9th grade, who was my friend, but we weren't necessarily tight at the time. We got tight, so that was cool. And it kind of propelled us all into this like friendship, right? And I also, as I had to give an effort in the class to act and to improvise, which ended up being my favorite, was improv. I think that it was one of the most impactful moments for me having a social media following these days. I think that it brought me out of my shell. Not that I wasn't an outgoing person, but in that situation of theater, it was the last thing I wanted to do. I was so nervous getting up and talking in front of these people. You know, at that point, I'm the popular kid, but I become the kid who doesn't know what he's doing. And they are the kids, or all around me, who do know what they're doing. So now I'm kind of, you know, the loser per se. Like in the situation, I'm the kid who doesn't know what he's doing. And I overcame that, and I got closer with kids around the class and respected them more for what they loved about theater. I was beating around the bush for a minute. I had to set the story for you guys, but it says, what do you experience in high school that sucked? That teacher, Mr. Collins, who had shifted my whole perspective on what theater was and what it meant and if it was cool or if it wasn't cool. One day he didn't show up to class, and it was our first period. So we're all there in class, and he wasn't there, and, you know, I mean, we just don't know what to think. I mean, the teacher's not there. Maybe he got in traffic, or like, you know, hopefully he didn't get in a wreck or anything like that. You know, that'd be terrible. But we're just sitting there, and then honestly, we're kind of like, the whole class is kind of, we're enjoying it a little bit because the teacher's not there. We're getting like a free period. But there's also that little tension in the air of like, but where is Mr. Collins? And then we have someone approach our room and tell us that Mr. Collins has been found, and he had passed away in the morning getting ready for school. I don't want to go too deep. I don't know what the family would even want me to say or not say. So, but he passed away that morning. It made me think back to when I walked into that class with no respect for theater, no respect for the kids who enjoyed theater, for the teacher. And I ended up looking forward to the class, and it was so fun, you know. And that was about halfway through the year, I think, if I remember right. And it just, looking back, after that, we had another teacher fill in, a female teacher who was actually, she taught both classes, I think, ours and the other theater class. It just wasn't the same because we had learned to accept theater from Mr. Collins. It was tough. At the end of every show, there's going to be a brand or a podcast or a person, something that I think is worthy of highlighting. If it's a brand, maybe their clothing's great, fits great. Maybe their owner is an amazing person. Maybe they donate to a charity. Maybe it's a podcast that's taught me a lot. And so today, it's Elevated Mindset Apparel. This is a clothing brand. They've stuck with me for years. I've stuck with them for years. They mainly make females apparel nowadays. It used to be pretty split. They still make some male apparel, but it's very female dominant. So my ties are loosened, but they're still there. So I appreciate them, everything they've ever done for me. Elevated Mindset Apparel on Instagram, and then also elevatedmindsetapparel.com is their website. I want to thank you guys for listening to Sean Tom Podcast. Give us a thumbs up. Click that button, please. We appreciate it. Give us a comment of any thoughts you have, whether they're positive or negative. We appreciate it no matter what. And I promise to continue this for you guys and be dedicated and, bring you guys cool content each week and something that you can learn from, and hopefully we're all better people because of it in the end. Thank you guys. I'm Chrome. I'm out.